sharing it with realtors outside of our market and telling them, hey, if you guys want to use this to contact your database and give them something to do, it's free. Have them jump on these events and join us. You know, it's open to everybody. So I started doing that last week, and then yesterday got a lead from a realtor in Naples for a buyer here in Miami Beach for $400,000, and I'm having a Zoom call with that buyer today to get them going.
Love it, love it, love it. Way to go. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Jenny.
You're welcome.
Yeah. By the way, I think I've mentioned this to all of you before, and absolutely, please feel free to share this link. Everyone is welcome, and the more the better. So who's up next?
Hey, John, it's Dave Costello. I got my listing last night.
Good job, Dave. Proud of you. Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yep. I'm just waiting because it looks like you had something else you wanted to say.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
That was it.
I'm good.
That was it.
On to the
All right.
next one.
All right. On to the next one. Love it. Okay. One more, guys, and we're going to get started.
Happy Tuesday, John.
Yes. Jeff Booker. Good to see you, man. Good
so
to
we
see
celebrated one of our team members getting one of her first closings this year. She's a stay-at-home mom, been working real hard with like 3 or 4 kids. And she's been working at, doing all the calls and working with Zoom, and actually had her first closing yesterday. So the whole team celebrated.
Love it. Hey, by the way, Jeff, you guys are doing an incredible job. Listings taken last week. I think that Great Florida Homes had 45% of the total listings for the Market Center. So keep up the great work, my friend. I'm proud of you.
I got a great group, with your leadership, my sister, my niece, and everybody else that supports us. I mean, we're just blessed to have each other.
There you go. Couldn't agree more. So guys, I'm walking this morning and I'm thinking a lot about you guys, like I always do. And sometimes, well, most of the time, that's a good thing. And sometimes I have to be really careful, because if I'm being brutally honest, every so often I have a little bit of stinking thinking going on. If you're a Zig Ziglar fan like I am, you know what that is. And Zig would say, whenever you have stinking thinking, it's time to get a checkup from the neck up. So there's a couple of Zigisms for you to start the day. And it's not that I'm having negative thoughts about you. Never. My thoughts are, how am I doing? How am I doing it as a leader that is leading a group of over 300 agents and co-leaders? And what can I do that I'm not doing to better support these guys? And for me, I'm results driven. And like most of you, I'm really hard on myself. So when the numbers don't look the way I think they should, the first person I'm going to look to is me. In other words, as a leader, what am I not doing that if I were to do it, would better support my people? So those are the thoughts that I'm having this morning. And this is not a negative conversation in any way. This is just transparent and honest. And I am, here's where I'm at. I'm ready. I don't know about you guys. I'm going to stop and give you a moment to talk here in just a second, because I'm going to say something and then I want you to talk. I'm ready to put this COVID thing behind us and press the gas pedal to the floor and go kick butt. I'm done being at home. I'm done looking at the numbers that I'm looking at that I'm going to share with you in just a few minutes. And I'm ready to go get back into production. I think Mo Anderson fired me up yesterday when she shared what she did about the shutdown of business in the United States. And I agree with her. I don't want to get into a political conversation. And I 100% agree with her. I think it's an absolute shame that thousands of businesses will never come back because of this. So, talk to me.
So John, can I jump in there right off the bat?
Yes.
I am
Now, I am fortunate to know you. I am fortunate that I get a chance to jump into your office on occasions and hear you speaking. I am really blessed that I get a chance to hear you on a daily basis right now. And I can say that as the coronavirus, when the lockdown started, there could have been a really, really big dark cloud over my head and everybody else's within woe is me, oh, we're in Schitt's Creek and such. As a team leader, you have basically kind of pushed those clouds out of the way, and you have enlightened me, and I think everybody else that's on this Zoom call, that there are plenty of opportunities out there. And besides the fact that there are opportunities, you coached us and are coaching us on how to go out and get them. I know that you are accessible so that if I have a challenge, that I can reach out to you and kick me in the butt when I need to. You're doing absolutely fabulous. So, only thing I can ask of you is to continue doing what you're doing.
I appreciate that, Alex. I do. And guys, I want you to talk to me about the market. I want you to talk to me about your feelings. I want you to talk, and Alex, I'm not saying I don't appreciate your kind words. I'm just saying I'm not looking for
Pat on the back.
guys to, no, not at all.
Okay,
Please
so let me take that a step further. Since I have been on these Zoom calls with you, I have been able to get a few more listings, more so than I usually have.
Okay.
And what's neat about that is that when I am, for instance, these are bank foreclosures that the banks kind of listen to my suggestions. I have suggested that they price the properties aggressively, and instead of not having to worry about it as much, they're following through with that. And one of the properties that I listed on Friday in Margate has now had showings, and I have 2 offers that have been on it, whereas usually it'll take a while for it to sell. So again, your coaching and preparing us for a shift has helped a great deal.
I appreciate that. Okay. Thank you, Alex.
Hey, John.
Yes. Hi, Cindy.
I am not camera Zoom ready today.
I love that.
It's just like the first day. But anyway, I have a whole set of Zooms. But I just wanted to say that I actually am carrying more listings right now than ever in my career, and feeling more confident and doing a better job for people in that arena thanks to what you share here. So thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. I really do. I was having a conversation with a friend of both of ours over the weekend, and she just could not say enough nice things about Cindy Hayden. That was music to my ears to hear. So jumping into Shift, maybe you guys will understand a little bit more of what I'm sharing with you in just a second, okay? And then we'll pause and talk again. All right, so I'm on page 49, and we're talking about finding the motivated, lead generation. Shocker, right? I am going to talk to you 90% of the time about lead generation because it's the number one thing we do. By the way, it was the number one thing we did a year ago. It's just even more important now. So here's what Gary has to say. Just because the market has moved from more to less doesn't necessarily mean you have to. As leads become fewer, you must recognize the situation and make a more concerted effort to generate them. You can't sit back. Guys, I talk to over 100 real estate agents a day, and 80% of them are sitting back and waiting. Huge mistake. You can't sit back. You must be more rigorous and resolute in your lead generation. You must be more rigorous and resolute in your lead generation than ever before, and more so than anyone else. That means it's a competition. If there's fewer opportunity and there's still as many realtors as there was, then there's less for all of us, which means you've got to be more competitive. By the way, that's okay. Go get your unfair share. So a couple questions for you. I'm going to pause right there. How's the market? I would ask you, how many active listings are there within 5 miles of your home between blank and blank? You can pick the price range, 500 to 550, a million to $1,250,000. And I know we just had this conversation a week ago, and there's been a ton of new listings. So it's time to look again. Matter of fact, this is something you should do every week. It's not something you do once in a while. It's your job as an economist of choice to know what's going on in the market. So how many active listings are there within 5 miles of your home between blank and blank? How many have sold in the last 6 months? Same price range. So I did a search using broker metrics for Northwest, Broward County, and Boca, basically within a 5-mile radius of my office here in Coral Springs. So here's what I found. April of 2020, there's been 421 listings taken. It's just a number, doesn't mean anything yet. April of 2019, there were 986 listings taken. Now, April month to date, obviously I know the month is not over, and I went right to the date, okay? I didn't look at the entire month in 2019. I went to the 28th, whatever today is, I think it's the 28th. So listings are down by more than 50%. Cool. Contracts, April of 2019, 1,188. April 2020, 666. Sorry, that was solds. Solds, April 2019, 1,188. April 2020, 666, down by about 50%. Now here's the number that will absolutely make you look at things different. Change the way you look at things, things you look at change. April 2019 contracts, 1,410. April 2020 contracts, 219. So here's the question. If listings are down by 50% and contracts are down by 85%, which way is the market moving? Now, take yourself off mute and talk to me and tell me, how are you doing? How's the market?
The market's going down.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, that's what it looks like, Paige. I don't know if the values are going down yet. I think they will. When supply is greater than demand, then prices go down because sellers are fighting over buyers. And when sellers fight over buyers, they lower the price in order to win that competition.
I've got a thought.
Yeah, please.
So, Mr. Seller, based on the statistics that we're just looking at, let me ask you a simple question. Did you want to be on the market when there's more competition or less competition?
Yeah. So, Michael, great script. And by the way, for everybody who's on the call today that maybe won't be on the call in November, same script when somebody tells you if they're waiting until after the holidays. Same. So what I got is the same thing Mike got, which is if I'm thinking of selling my home, I might want to go ahead and put it on the market now. So I'm going to go back to the original question. How are you doing? How are you doing when it comes to finding business? Let's go back to what Gary Keller said. You must be more rigorous and more resolute in your lead generation than ever before, and more so than anyone else. In fact, now is the time to shift your lead generation activities into the highest gear possible. So sitting back and waiting not only is not a good idea, but continuing to do what you were doing prior to COVID is also not a good idea. What worked before will not work again. Here, I want you to look at it like this. So take yourself off mute, talk to me, and I'm going to pull up a whiteboard and show you what lead generation looks like to me in a shifting market and why this is important for you to know. Hi, Samantha.
Hi. So I had a quick aha.
Yep.
And basically, I think it's not just doing your calls. I think you have to use several different platforms to communicate with people. So it's not just making your calls. You've got to get on social media. You've got to do your text message. I think there's a variety of different things you have to do now than you did before.
I agree with that.
Communicating.
Yeah, I agree with that, Samantha, 100%. And depending on who you're talking to, some people would rather communicate by text message than by phone, right?
Correct. Yep.
So don't eliminate text messaging. Don't hear me say not to do that either, because I'm not. I'm going to tell you if you're making 40 contacts a day, 20 of them should be on the phone, and the other 20 should be a combination of text messages, Facebook Messenger, whatever other resource you're using.
The other aha I had, I was doing, yesterday I pulled up the numbers in my area to see how many active listings are in Boca. And the numbers were kind of interesting because I focus on the higher end price point. And I was like, maybe I should kind of change my thinking and kind of do a different price point based on what's selling. And the interesting part is that everything that's on the market right now and all different price points are getting offered and are going under contract. So that was kind of an aha for me because I was like, well, I thought maybe because the luxury market was being hit, maybe that's something I should be focusing on and kind of going into another area.
And just keep looking at those. I would look at those numbers a couple times a week because you may see a trend in one direction or another. Just keep looking at the numbers. And as long as properties are still going under contract, then cool. I would also go back and look at how many properties went under contract last year, because just because homes are going under contract, don't let that fool you into thinking everything is cool. Because if I just shared with you that there were 219 properties that went under contract in April 2020, holy cow, in the middle of a health crisis, 219 properties went under contract. That sounds pretty good. Until I tell you that 1,410 went under contract during the same time period a year ago. Now it doesn't sound so good.
Correct. Good point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, my pleasure. All right, guys, so here's how I see lead generation. We have three main sources of opportunity. You've seen this before. Nothing's new. And our goal is to feed our pipeline and feed our database. Now, marketing. If I'm spending money on pay-per-click, for example, that's a source of lead generation. It's going to make my phone ring. It's going to cause inbound leads via Zoom or Boomtown or Zillow or Facebook lead ads. It's all marketing. All right. I am also working my database for repeat and referral business. Now, here's the interesting thing we know about this. And I went back to look at my notes from family reunion in 2008. And it was interesting because a lot of the things Gary Keller was saying back then, he's saying again today. On repeat and referral business, you've got your sphere of influence in your database. You have your past clients, you have your raving fans, and you're adding new Mets to your database every day, or at least you should be. Now, here's the interesting thing. And when I say interesting, I don't mean good. Only 5% of the real estate agents that were asked are using a 36 touch effectively with their database. 5%. That means 90%, 95% aren't. And during a good market, our phone rings, we get referrals, and we think we're running a business by referral. You're not really. You're running a business by answering your phone. Now, when the market shifts, your phone's going to stop ringing. Those incoming referrals are going to stop. And you're going to go, now what? Why isn't anybody calling me? here's the other thing that happens when a market shifts. We see a big decrease in the number of leads that we're getting from marketing. So, where do we see more leads? Prospecting. What becomes the greatest source of opportunity in a shifting market? Expired listings. For sale by owners. Circle prospecting. Door knocking. Proactive lead generation. The agents who master this are going to do the best in a shift. The agents who have lived through marketing are going to get hurt the worst unless they shift their method and their message in order to survive a shift. And if you're running your business on repeat and referral business, still works. Buyer's market, seller's market, it always works. But guys, here's the thing. This number has to get to 100%. We have to get to a point where we're working our relationships. Stop waiting for people to call you and get on the phone and make those calls. You think that you're bothering them. You're not. They're sitting at home wishing you would call. All right, talk to me.
Hey, John, Cindy Hayden. At some point, I would love to hear more about circle prospecting. That's not something I've ever really done. So, what you say or how you do that would be really helpful.
Let's do it right now. So, Cindy, I'm going to pick a neighborhood where we sold a property recently. Now, if I sold the property, it's even better. And if I didn't sell the property, then I'm going to look for a property that sold from my office. And if there wasn't a property in my office, it's just a property. So I'm simply going to call you. I'm going to say, hey, Cindy, it's John Dietz, Keller Williams Realty. Thank you for taking my call. I only need 60 seconds. I know you're busy. The reason for my call is I recently sold a home in your neighborhood, which is great news. Matter of fact, it sold for blank, which is top of the market. And again, great news. My challenge now is there are buyers who are interested in great homes like yours. And I was curious, who do you know in your neighborhood that might be thinking of selling their home?
Great. Yeah, my neighbor talked about they might be thinking about it.
Yeah. So thank you, Cindy. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for someone who says, maybe I will a year from now, maybe 2 years from now, or I think I might know someone just like you did. That's awesome. And if they say, I can't think of anyone, the response is, thank you for taking a moment to think about that. And before I let you go, I like to keep my friends and family members updated on the market. Now, what that means, Cindy, is I send them market updates once a month, and I call like every 3 or 4 months just to check in. Would it be okay if I added you to that group?
Sure.
Now I'm adding people to my database. And the reason we lead generate is to get an appointment, to get a referral, or add somebody to my database, add somebody to your database. And circle prospecting is a great opportunity to do that.
Do you ask them what's their best email? Is that what you ask them next?
Always, yeah. So I've got this great app that I can send you, or I've got this great website that I can send you, Cindy, that'll give you a customized search for properties in your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. All I need is an email address.
Mm-hmm. Great, thanks.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. By the way, door knocking, circle prospecting works, and it's the same conversation. You're just knocking on their door. Not right now, guys. Wait till they lift the shelter-in-place thing. And if you sold the property, Cindy, and you had multiple offers, go to their house, knock on the door, and show them, great news, we just sold a home in your neighborhood. As a matter of fact, we got 3 offers on the property, and unfortunately, we can only sell it to one person. So I've got 2 buyers that are interested in moving into your neighborhood. And I was curious, Who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home? Michael, I think I saw your hand up, or was it a thumbs up?
It was a little bit of both.
Talk to me.
My intention on getting on the call today was just to ask what other types of lead gen people are doing right now other than the care calls, right? And I had already anticipated to go and do some circle prospecting that you and I have worked on for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just funny that it just showed up in our conversation.
Yeah. So Jenny, to answer your question, Vulcan 7 will provide you with the contact information by neighborhood, and so will Kohl's. Just Google both those products, and that's how you're going to find the contact information. Michael, I would ramp up on for sell by owners and expireds right now. If I'm a realtor, I am going to start acting as if we are back to normal. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not leading with care calls, guys. Don't hear me wrong, because I'm still leading with, how are you doing? How's everybody at home? Things are really crazy right now, aren't they? And by the way, I noticed your listing came off the market, and I was just curious, in light of the health crisis, are you planning on relisting your home, or are you, no, wrong choice of words, sorry guys. Are you planning on selling your home? Are you still interested in moving? Or are you gonna wait until this is passed? I'm okay with either one, by the way. And I don't know if I would ask them if they're gonna wait. I would simply ask them, are you still interested in selling your home? Are you still moving? Now, I'm looking for opportunity, and I don't care if it's opportunity right now or 6 months from now. So if they say, no, I'm taking a break, cool. I can appreciate that. After all, I would probably do the same thing. And I'd like to keep my friends and family members updated on the market. That simply means I send them interesting market updates once a month, and I call every 3 or 4 months just to check in. Would it be okay if I stayed in touch with you? And what I'm doing is I'm looking for an opportunity to create emotional proximity. In other words, I'm looking for an opportunity to follow up with them so that when they're ready, I've created mind share now in order to get market share later. And I've got this giant pipeline that I filled with future opportunities. So as I'm making these calls, I really don't care if they want to list their home right now. It doesn't matter to me if it's 6 months from now, because fast forward, it's 6 months from now. Guess what? I need listings.
John, let's pick up the call where Cindy left off, right? So they
Yep.
can kind of hear the whole call. So yeah, I've got a neighbor who's thinking about selling.
That's awesome, Michael. I'd love to give your neighbor a phone call. You think it would be okay if I got their contact information so I can give them a call today?
Yeah, I don't see why that's a problem.
Perfect. Yeah.
Or
no,
right?
You're not comfortable with that.
That's right.
Yeah. Sure, Michael, I completely understand that. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you a call back tomorrow, and that'll give you an opportunity to reach out to your neighbor and let them know I'm going to call.
Okay.
And that way I won't call them until you've had an opportunity to let them know I'm going to call first.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. What I don't want to do, guys, is I don't want to give Michael my name and phone number and have him pass my contact information on to the referral, because they're never going to call me. Right? When you hear somebody that says to you, yeah, I give your cards out all the time, or I just referred you to a friend of mine, and you're never going to get a call. You've got to let people know how to refer you.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please.
If I know where that person, and Mike, if I know where you live and you're telling me that your neighbor is thinking about selling, I might do like a personal note card to the neighbor. I mean, I could get on the tax record, find out you live at 123 Main Street, and turn around and send a letter, a personal note or a personal card to 125 Main Street and say, hey, Bob, rumor has it you might be thinking I'd like to apply for the job or whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's just in addition to getting the contact information. Great job, Alex.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, agree. And if you've got a buyer that's interested in a particular neighborhood, guys, and you're calling your reverse prospecting, which is you're calling a neighborhood looking for a seller who wants to sell because you have a buyer who wants to live there. Have your buyer write a letter that you're going to copy and mail to everybody in the neighborhood. That way, the homeowners are getting a letter from the family that wants to live in their neighborhood. By the way, duh, the letter is going to say, if you know of anybody who's interested in selling their home, we would really appreciate it if you would reach out to our realtor, Michael Topo. Here's his phone number. It's not, give me a call. Guys, you're not here to create for sale by owners. Holy cow. All right, we're out of time. Give me one more aha, something good. And
Okay, I got something good.
thank you, Cindy. Lisa, sorry. Lisa.
Oh, no, it's all good.
I know who you are.
Okay, I've contacted all my leads that are buyers, and I'm taking out 2 people today. They were going to wait until July, August, and I convinced them that it's a great time to buy now.
Love
So
that.
I'm taking out at 2 o'clock today and then at 6 o'clock tonight.
So Lisa, for everybody else who's on the call and for you and I, as your coach, I've got a couple of questions.
Okay.
Cool. How did you convince them? Or better question, did you convince them or did you help them self-discover that now's a good time to buy versus waiting?
Yeah, maybe convince is
Well, tell me what you did.
not the word. I was just telling them that the interest rates are low now and I'm not sure what's going to happen in June, July, or August.
Okay, so that's a harm's way question.
So that's kind of how I did it. And the people that I'm working with now obviously still have jobs. I didn't mention anything about jobs, by the way, but I just kind of made it more about the interest rates.
Cool.
More so than anything else.
Yeah, so here's what you did. And I just want everybody to get this and we're gonna go. You created a future positive versus future pain conversation around interest rates. In other words, Lisa, if you wait until June or July and interest rates go up by 1% between now and then, how does that affect your affordability?
I talked about that as far as, because I'm working with FHA buyers with ratios and stuff like that, so.
Good stuff, good stuff. If waiting caused your monthly payment to go up, would you regret waiting? Yep. So I know that's what you did because I know you and you're awesome.
Thank you.
Well, I mean it.
Thank
All right,
you.
everybody. It is 9:05. Time to get on the phone, go make those calls, make those contacts. Remember to lead with care. We're still in a health crisis and it's time to double down. It's time to get serious about building your pipeline to create massive opportunity later on. Whether you're creating opportunity for right now or you're creating opportunity for 90 days from now, fill up that pipeline with people who want to buy and sell. Your job, it's a game. See how many people you can get in that pipeline. All right, make it a great day.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
My
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, my pleasure.